This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Chasen Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Curt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
What is going on, dude?
Living the dream, or dreaming about living, one of the two.
Yeah, it's all the same, ain't it?
Yep, it sure is. Uncle Lou, how do you do? Yeah, maybe I'm getting a little bit too old to sleep on the floor of a pickup for hours on end. Appreciate everything, don't get me wrong, but I'm stiff.
Yeah. Laying on the floor of a backseat of laying on the floor in the back of a F-150. I mean, I'm not a tall guy, but that's too short for a tall guy.
Yeah, but you know what? We were at the Bassmaster Classic. It was fantastic. There's a lot of people talking negative a little bit. Honestly, I think the weigh-ins were excruciatingly long. That's all I have to say about that. But I think tighten that up.
I know we've said this, but I've thought about this a lot. They were long. One, there's 56 of them. Half of them will never see that stage again.
Yeah, true, but do they?
So you got to give them their 2 minutes of fame. Number one, I think the reason it took so long compared to last year, I got to thinking about this, and when you think about sitting in there and you're watching one boat, last year in Tulsa they came out and they turned in there right at the stage. This year they had to drive way out to that stage, and it 10 seconds a boat, but you times that by 56 boats,
right?
And then to leave them again. And I think it was just, I think there was the things that they could have tightened up. Yes, they were 3 hours long. Yes, they were long.
Yeah. I
might have got a little sleepy a couple days.
Yeah, most of the media guys are sitting in their chairs like this, put their cameras away and stuff. And Tulsa set the bar high, right? I mean, Tulsa just did it right. And I don't want to be negative about it because, we all had opportunities to do things. Frankly, I guess I took it upon myself to spend time out back like I did last year. And I had a chance to talk to Easton Fothergill before anybody else did, right?
Yeah.
But it was before he won it. But we knew he was the winner. But
I mean, if you watched any of the live, the last fish caught on live was an 8-pounder. You kind of had an idea that he had a 12-pound lead going into day 3. And I'm going to set right there. I am so over the negative forward-facing comments. Get over it.
You mean like this?
Come on.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm over it.
That kid could beat anyone that's negatively talking without it.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Buy this shit or sit on the sidelines, but don't bash a 22-year-old kid that went through massive adversity. I mean, he had brain surgery before he fished a college championship and had to get a doctor's clearance to get it and then wins it to get to his first Bassmaster Classic. Then he wins all the elites or the opens to get into the Elite Series. Get over it. The kid is a stick.
Yeah.
Where was this? We didn't have keyboard warriors when GPS maps came out or spot lock or side imaging. Guess what? It's the way of the future.
Yeah, it's here to stay. It's never going to go away. If they try to make it go away, whatever, Joshua, how you doing? Exactly. Shame on those people who are saying that crap. Isn't that the truth? And here's the thing. This did not come from Easton Fothergill's post or his page. This came from Tom Wynn, from Tom Wynn's page, right? So you've got keyboard warriors attacking everybody everywhere. And unfortunately, I don't know that these guys have the brains to really understand it anyway, because you can use here. I'm a perfect example of forward-facing sonar not working, right? I have a ton of forward-facing sonar. I use it, but I'm not catching more fish because of it. Uncle Lou says jealousy runs deep in some people. Yes, it does. World full of jack wagons. There you go. I like that word. Yeah, jack wagons is right. It's so true. But really, I am not a better fisherman because of forward-facing sonar. I understand fish better because of forward-facing sonar. I understand that I don't need to fish the bottom all the time. So, Trey McKinney, his mommy and daddy buying whatever. Mommies and daddies buy all kinds of stuff for whatever. And it's unfortunate, but man, I've just had enough. And honestly, I'm going to start using the hashtag boring.
Yeah.
No, come on, say something. Say something good.
And at the end of the day, okay, so Easton won the event with 54 other guys forward facing.
Right.
There was one guy that didn't. The Tin Man himself,
in the
John Cox.
60.
Top 6.
Just saying.
He's the only guy that doesn't even own one. And guess what? He's up there smiling and happy as absolutely can be.
Yep.
And he didn't go up there and bash him for using forward-facing sonar when he won't even put it on his boat. There was 54 other guys in that event with forward-facing sonar.
Yeah. It really is just it's a total shame.
Josh, you're 100%. Wasn't the last 2 or 3 classics also on forward-facing? Yeah. I mean, Gussie moped. He won Knoxville moping.
Yeah, 100% forward-facing sonar.
Yeah. So, I don't know why you're picking on some kid. We should be proud as hell of a Minnesota boy. First time the Classic trophies come back to Minnesota. Hats off to the kid.
I mean,
we hope to have him on the show soon. He's way too busy for us right now.
Yep. Yeah, and he knows we're here, and he knows that we'd like to have him on the show, but we're gonna afford him his time, and we'll have him on when the time is right for him to join us.
Yeah,
Dusty. Enough of the hate, jealousy talk about FFS. Honestly, I put it in the promo card and the deal that we sent out today to remind people we're going to be on. And I'm like, okay, after tonight, I'm done. That's it. I really had nothing else to say about it. I'm going to use forward-facing sonar. I'm going to learn to use it another way this spring and summer. I'm going to use it to my advantage. And if I catch 110 10-pound walleye with it, then hot damn for me, because I figured it out. And if somebody doesn't like it, too bad for you.
Get ready, because you got one to read from our buddy Johnny Candle.
Oh, here we go. All right, Johnny. I'm happy for Easton. Johnny, right. I'm glad you're saying this. Great win. And it was. It will change his life. And the crazy thing is his life was already changed. He talked about in his article in Bassmaster, he talked about winning the biggest tournament or event of his life. And little did he know he had a bigger one coming, but he did. And it's great. Who cares how he won? Exactly. He played within the rules and beat the field. Very well said, Johnny. Good for him. Forward-facing sonar is now part of the game, and it will be until something takes its place. In every sport, the old guys get passed by the young guys. I was once a young gun. Johnny, I just can't. It's hard to grasp that you were a young gun. You're still a young gun, though. I'm just teasing you. But anyway, you're right. You did. You earned your way through a career and then decided it was time to move on. And right. But it's a hard thing to do, right? Because I'm getting to that point in my life where I'm about curtain down on my radio career. But just be excited for the young man. If you don't want to use it, then don't.
Bingo.
Perfect. Very well said. Honestly, here it is. Mic drop. Done. All right, let's move on. Perfect, Johnny. That was perfect.
That was absolutely perfect. And that's where I'm at with the whole conversation on it. You said it great.
Yeah.
So, moving on, man. What an amazing event. I don't care if you like bass fishing or not, the Classic is a must bucket list trip just to the expo. I mean, I've been seeing stuff on Facebook that I didn't even know was at the expo because I missed it. There was so much there.
Yeah, right, John. Thank you. Yeah, Johnny hit that right on the head. Yeah, like Deion Sanders was there. He was in the media pit. So was I. Where the hell was prime time? You know, I'm like, come on. How did I miss that? Now I sat through the press conference in the end, and I would have sat there longer. You guys were itching for me to get my butt going, and I understood that, and it was fine. But I didn't get a chance to. I didn't get a chance to finish out the deal and see Easton and talk to him after he won. Chris, 100% agree. Great time. You know, we all had a good time there. I was a little bummed that I wasn't a walleye guy in the picture there. But I'm not a walleye guy. So.
Chris, thanks for posting the picture of the walleye guys of the club. You were at home still. You weren't there yet that day. You decided to stay back a little bit, right? Because of 3 days at the expo is a long time, but I had to go down there for a couple meetings. So I was there hanging out in the Garmin booth, and Eric McCoy and Tom Wynn. And then Chris came up and was like, we got to get a picture of the walleye guys down here. So that was awesome. And then other than that, I saw Mark Courts there too. So can't forget about Courts being down there. And Eric,
I didn't see him.
Excuse me. Eric Nagy from NPAA was there too. So that was good to see all them guys down there. But I mean, you walk around the expo, unbelievable stuff you see. I get to cheat and read these before they come up.
Well, I guess I deserve that. Yeah, you know, I thought I'd had enough, and obviously I didn't. But it was great to see you guys, and you know, frankly, you know, Curt's a little in the shadows more, and so it's very nice that he had the opportunity to have some limelight there on target walleye. And that's you know, it's pretty good. You know, and here's the thing that's really kind of exciting is, and Ryan Pincala Pinky from Crappie Chronicles said the same thing. It was so awesome to see a bunch of guys from the north in Texas at that Bassmaster Classic, and he's right. There were a lot of people there. I didn't get to see Sydney Wells. I saw her on stage. Hannah Barron. You know, I might be old, but I ain't dead. You know, I don't mind a good looking gal. Even if they're 40 years younger than me, hell, who cares? You know what? They're cute. They're fun. They're part of the outdoors, right? They're part of the influencer crowd, and you want to meet with them. You want to greet with them. You want to talk to them. You know, and do those things. So I don't know. I guess I was in my own little world and didn't see a lot of those people. I looked and looked and looked. I had a great conversation with Eric McCoy. You know, I didn't expect to have a conversation with him, and we talked, and it was a ton of fun. Geez, you know, the Vexus boat display had the old 1974 Ranger bass boat in it, you know.
Bassmaster Classic 1974. Right. Randy Hopper pulled out his personal collection boat and brought it. What a cool thing!
And that's how that thing was. And Johnny, right? You go back far enough to where you started your tournament days out in one of those. I think, didn't you have a smaller boat like a Mr. Pike or something? I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, you know, those were the days. Right. You remember back in 1971, they were all inboard, outboard. Right. But they were all these skinny little, they looked, well, they were like a banana. Right. They were just skinny and long.
Yeah.
And they had the Lowrance flasher on there, the old Motor Guide trolling motor. And then they had the anchor. Yeah.
Anchor on the auto deploy.
Right. And everybody had the exact same piece of equipment. You know, you go back and you look at the very first one, 10 pounds of tackle. Right. And I want to say Bobby Murray. Bobby Murray won the first one.
And they didn't even know where they were going. They got on a plane to an undescribed location, got in a boat that wasn't theirs. Forest L Woods had all the boats sitting there, and boom, they fished.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to talk about an even playing field. You know, I don't think that's going to fly anymore, but.
No, and I mean, you can't. The media side of things and all that, what that thing is, I mean, that would be cool to see. but that thing is such a spectator sport. I mean, a couple thousand people at takeoff in the morning. And I mean, I think Nate said he counted like 14 drones in the air at takeoff or something. Yeah. They're just flying everywhere. It's such a spectacle. It's so cool. And I mean, as a spectator, I would love to just have it magically pop up, but not being able to be there wouldn't be the same to me. You know, no. The Mystery Lake and getting a boat that's all rigged the same.
You know what? Cool. It'd be kind of fun,
but it would be different than the Classic, is what it's grown today. And it was so great.
I don't think, you can't have it in that atmosphere. I think you could go to Devil's Lake, and I think you could have that type of tournament on Devil's Lake. Yeah, I truly believe. You could. Wabae is not big enough. You got to go somewhere. Leech. Maybe even Red.
Oh, you could go a lot of places. I mean, it's 56 guys. It's not that big a deal, but they got on a plane and they showed up there. But you lose our aspect of it. I mean, you lose our fan aspect of it. And they said, I watched one of the videos. I don't know where you were at because you had media pass, but before the weigh-ins, they said, Ray Scott had a dream. The first one was in a field outside, and he said, "We will be in a stadium." And they laughed at him, and they're in a stadium.
Boom.
And attendance is always light Thursday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I thought the attendance was great. It's always the best in the last day because you're going to see who wins. True. I do have to agree on one thing that I like and I hate, so it's a double-edged sword, is Bass Track. We kind of all knew before weigh-in started that Fothergill had it won.
Yep. It
takes through a dog and pony show of the sitting in the hot seat and all this stuff. And we kind of knew he won. I mean, he went out with a 12-pound lead. You watched him catch an 8-pounder on Bass Track. You kind of knew where he was at. You knew he had it, and then to top it all off, the kid took off. I don't even know how many year old record of KVD. Now, we were talking to Shane Steele on the way home, and he made the comment, that was awesome. Good for him. But I'd like to see it done in Louisiana Delta where KVD did it. Different lakes, bigger bass. But still, that record stood for how long?
Yeah, a long time.
I think it was 1986.
Yeah, was it 86 or set? Oh, no, it was 76 pounds. I think KVD had. I can't remember the
Bitter's got a Bill Dance, Roland Martin, Jimmy Houston were all on that plane. Yep. All went on to be pros in a media.
Yeah, and that's something.
Yeah.
You think about
went on to be pros in the media. Yeah, I mean,
unbelievable.
Crazy, right? Crazy. And I mean, it's pioneered our time. We've talked about a tournament thing we're working on. And everybody's like, "Oh, I hope you make it Mystery Lakes." Sponsors don't want it Mystery Lakes. We got to advertise. The community's got to advertise. I mean, the amount of money that came into Fort Worth for that event was insane.
Right. Well, I think about the money that comes in when you have a tournament at Cedar Shore. Think about the hotel rooms, all the food. Some of the guys will get their Airbnbs and different things like that, but little old Oklahoma and Chamberlain are a buzz on that weekend, or any weekend there's a tournament there. Yeah. Well, frankly, any weekend Gary Allen's out guiding, the town's a buzz because there's just a lot of people who want to catch fish there.
Yeah, I was down there today for work. I was down there for a day for work, and holy cow. Crazy thing, they're put houseboats in today. They were when I left Cedar Shore, they were putting their third houseboat in the water already. I've never seen that for a Cedar Shore event in April. And I mean, we're in end of March putting them in.
March 26th.
So, I mean, crazy. But yeah, I mean, you got to do the media stuff. The media is where it's at. That's how we make more money for these events. That's how we upgrade equipment. That's how we continue to be able to do these things. And I'd rather do it on the back of sponsors than the back of the anglers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you there. I think it's become a spectacle. You've got people who probably want to fish or love fishing, but they can't or won't, but they get to watch it. Yeah. I think that's the exciting thing about what the fishing crew's done the last couple of years. This year, certainly no exception. You know, we're gonna add to it. You know, you're looking at some really cool stuff for 2025. I mean, I really don't even know where to start. We've got the new trailer, the new studio, and you know, instead of cell phones, it's the professional broadcast Sony. And then there are all kinds of other things out there, like the Waybook that we're going to use to simplify things, which means our leaderboard will be more visible and more up to date on the website, and we'll have it on our broadcast like we have now. We'll keep doing that. We'll add to that, you know, and then some of the tools.
The communication, before we get into this, because that's a whole nother conversation. Right. Just the communication we'll be able to have back with our anglers with that new Waybooks. Mm-hmm. As soon as weigh-ins are over, everybody's going to get a text message on what place they're in.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing.
You know, you're going to get it's going to automate text you your flight times and flight numbers. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So we've been working, you know, we started with those guys last fall, found them, kind of tried them out for the fall brawl. They weren't ready for how we did weigh-ins. Dan at Waybooks has been, I mean, we had a 2-hour conference call with him a couple weeks ago and filled him full of ideas, and he took them and ran with them.
Your dude can write code. I mean,
yeah, he's like, oh, that's 2 minutes. Oh, that's 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes. And, you know, and incredible. And then another thing we found at the Classic is what you're super excited about, because it's going to bring our media coverage even better.
Yeah, it's going to give us something to talk about, right? We're going to be able to talk about the windy side of the lake, the calm side. This is just a quick video from their website that kind of gives an idea. There's inflow, outflow. We're going to have all of this stuff at our disposal. Is it something that everybody is going to want to have on their phone? You know, I don't know. I guess if you're a big time fisherman,
$80 a year, the answer is yes.
I would download Deep Dive. That's what I would do. I have it because they're adding. Well, look at here. Yeah, and this isn't even the full list because the page was too long. But they've added Oahe. They've added a bunch of lakes. I think they probably put Ponset and a couple others in, Sharpe in for sure. So we've got some of these lakes at our disposal, and we're going to be able to add a little more to the conversation instead of talking or guessing how the wind is going to affect fishing on the lake. We will actually be able to pinpoint that, maybe not down to the second, but down to the minutes. And then we've even got the headshot ability, and I hope we can get our poop in a group there for the Gov Cup, because it's going to be amazing. Just like when you're watching the Bassmasters, you pop the map up and you know, here's John Cox over here. Here's Easton Fothergill over here. Now, guys that are fishing the tournaments, don't freak out. We're not giving your spot. It's not
GPS tied you.
It's just going to be an area on the lake, because we're going to pop your picture up and talk about you. So your family, your friends, and everybody can get what you'd get from a Bassmaster tournament or Bassmaster Elite tournament or any bass tournament that's televised, right?
Well, and I'm going to step back and say, with that Waybooks, as soon as that all integrates, he was hoping tonight he'd have the automated. So when you sign up on the fishingcrew.com, it'll automatically go to Waybooks.
Right.
It'll automatically go to Waybooks. And when that happens, you're going to get a text message that says, hey, you know, I don't know the exact verbiage. We haven't worked it out yet, but something like, hey, thanks for signing up for the Fishing Crew. Click this link, go to Waybooks to set your profile up, and you can build your profile out. You can upload a picture. You can put all your sponsors on there. And then in that profile, they'll track your placings, your earnings, everything inside of our events with that thing. And it's free to you. So if you upload your, you know, and then when you come to the stage, when you get coming up, it'll pop you up. So I'll know, and I can say, hey, here's Chasen Walters. He's sponsored by In Through the Outdoors. And, you know, I can't catch a fish.com.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
I resemble that website. Not really. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Fellas, if you're looking for excuses, there's a little spot in there where you can create an AI email and text to your wife you can just, it'll automatically send it out and say, I'm going to be late. I won first place. I'm going to be late. I had car trouble. We had truck trouble, and it takes care of that. You can hang out and just have fun and not worry about.
That must be something I haven't seen yet.
Well, that's because you're married. I'm not. Neither
are you going to ask Dan to add that to the Waybook software?
That's a part of it there, because you got to have a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, there. Like I'll call you late. Can I call you later? Automatic response on the the phone. No, exactly. I called you right now. I don't want you to call me later. What option do I have? Yes, you can call me later.
Either you're going to answer now or you're not.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so those things are truly amazing. The Starlink, you're hooked to Starlink. And we did find a few little things about computers, laptops, and processing speed and different things like that really come into play that will help the broadcast. And at least at this point, we're 80% sure that it's going to help. We're going to find out here real soon at Cedar Shore. And that's just weeks away here. Whew.
Yes, and the Bass Cup.
And the Bass Cup.
So, we're looking to do more media coverage. And, like I said, I haven't sneaked it. We're going to have to post some pictures. We do have a brand new tournament trailer coming.
And it's fancy.
We might have to get a new URL. It's not anymore, Joshua. It's gone.
Oh my! Now that's funny. I had on my truck. I used to have my website was chasenwalter.lol, and I had more people say, "So, do you think you're funny?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" Chasen Walter LOL is not funny. I'm like, "No, it's my website." No, it's not. I'm like, "Yeah, it is." No, there's no LO.LOL. Yeah, there is. There's a .lol for comedians. And I finally had to go to .com because nobody believed the .lol thing, which blew my mind.
You can actually nowadays you can buy, you can pay to have whatever. So you can have fish, whatever. It's extremely expensive. We looked into it, but it's, but yeah, anyway, so back to the, we're going to up our media coverage. We're, I think we've done a great job. We've had many hours of conversations, myself and Chasen, and we beat ourselves up pretty bad. But then we get to the Classic, and they have some glitches, and they have hundreds of people running around, a production company hired. You're looking at the Waymaster, the tournament director, the media, the producer, right, the content guy, everything in these two guys right here. And we have great staff. Can't take away from Zach, right, Nate, yep, Sherry, Carla, Dick, the whole crew that comes and helps us. But, when you produce a show, that is you, and you're hitting the buttons, and you're the talent on the thing.
Yeah,
right.
We're,
like I told you, Dave Mercer's mic doesn't work. He looks at somebody, they hand him a new mic that they got working. My microphone don't work. I have to go figure out why it's not working,
Right. Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, we're not going to be perfect, but we plan to our goal is to give the best coverage in the upper Midwest for tournaments. And I think we're going to get there. I think we need Chris to come out with Target Walleye to write some ads or write some articles too. He can come hang out and write some articles after the events. That'd be great to see Target Walleye out at our events.
Especially the Gov Cup would be
maybe
a good time.
Chris, if you came out, maybe Brian would get out of bed early enough for you.
Oh, trust me, I am the one that's out of bed early. I'll tell you what. Well, here's part of the thing. I laid in bed waiting for people to get up, and then I fell asleep again.
Yeah,
but I'm an early riser. I love being up, and once summer comes around, if I'm not up by 4:30, I am mad at myself.
Yeah.
So,
so the content, the new trailer that's coming, Team Lodge's custom building. I mean, we spent 5 hours? 5 hours out there designing it. Tanner told me the other day they've calculated out there's over a mile of wiring inside the trailer.
Yeah, we got a lot of USB stuff in that thing.
USB, HDMI, Cat 6, Starlink cable. I mean, you name it, it's in this trailer. We're going to have the Wahi Dam work overtime to turn it on, but, it's going to be good. So,
all right, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we can't wait. And we added the Denny Palmer to our list of stuff. So we're going to be doing the Denny Palmer June 14th in Mobridge. Get signed up for that. MobridgeChamberOutdoors.com. Look up the Mobridge Chamber and find their Denny Palmer event. Can't wait to go up there, cover the broadcast, help do the weigh-ins for them. They're still highly involved with the Mobridge Chamber, but can't wait to help them with that. And yeah, we got a lot of things coming this summer and cannot wait. I mean, I got a lot of stuff to get done the next couple weeks, but I can't wait for it to start.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited because I have a little different frame of mind. I kind of, when we thought about Bassmasters being an inspiration for what we would like to do for walleye, I just had it in my head that we had to be this big national, TV show. And then it finally hit me that we're going to be a TV show, or I guess I don't know. It's a TV show. We're doing TV, right? Because it's video. So we're doing all this video stuff to really enhance the walleye tournament world, to bring families and friends and fans and everybody together to have a good time like they do in the bass world with all of these productions. And now we do this production on a local level, and we're out there doing it for you people that are watching, that care and want to be a part of it. And that changed my whole world when I talked to a few different people, realizing that, okay, so what if they don't hear about us in Georgia, or we don't get 13,000 views because of whatever, if you're watching, if you're viewing like tonight, it's fantastic. We used to, I guess we used to go, oh, wow, there's 20 people watching. Well, now sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's more, but if 20 people are watching, it's 20 people watching on a Wednesday night. It's primetime TV slot, man.
Yep.
So we appreciate you watching, and we're excited what there is to come forth. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, the interview with McKinney last year. Scott, yeah, you know what? That was a ton of fun. That kid really blew our minds.
Oh, geez. Felby's bringing us a gift for you guys in Chamberlain. Oofda. Oofda.
Okay. Well, I hope the hell it isn't quail eggs.
Spicy pickled quail eggs. They're not that bad. Mercer was about to die.
Yeah, no, I think I'd have thrown up 3 times in my mouth. Kevin, thank you. You guys are definitely an inspiration for me out west. Love what you're doing. Thank you. And it's those kind of comments that make us want to do this more and do more cool things and add stuff like deep dive to the broadcast, just to enhance what we've got going on, talk about the weather, talk about the situation and bring everything to life.
And we're not the guys that's going to tell you the tackle tips and stuff to catch the fish. That's not what we do or who we are. We finally decided this year that we're not bad fishermen. Fish are just really bad at biting our hooks.
Yeah, right.
Right. So that's the reason we're not the greatest fishermen in the world. But I get more joy of watching somebody catch their first fish or catch a bunch of fish than I do catching them myself. So I really love promoting the sport. I really love running the tournaments. I really love doing this. I mean, we talk about it all the time. This is probably the first week, and only because we didn't work Monday and we drove back, that I'm like, oh crap, Wednesday. Like I felt like I'm on Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
like
right,
I felt like I'm on Tuesday. So this is the first, but there's never been a week where like, oh, it's Wednesday, we got to do the show. We can't wait till Wednesday to get on here and talk to all the people that like to listen to us blab. We we love our guests. I mean, we've had great guests. We joke all the time. Some that were like, oh, we're just going to do a filler. And boom, it's some of our best shows. Felby, it's not hula poppers, it's frogs in 80 foot. Live frogs, April, Chamberlain, 80 foot. Mark my words.
Frogs in 80 feet.
In April, in Chamberlain.
In April.
So the people that don't know the story, back in the Western walleye days, early 2000s, my dad was fishing them. They had Billy Brenton from Wyoming started the circuit. A lot of the old timers still talk about it. It was incredible. The circuit was a 2-man team, $1,000 entry fee, big money. Lowrance was behind it. They had the Lowrance $100,000 to win. They had a TV show. They had a magazine. They had everything, and they were going for it. And they had this rodeo announcer from Wyoming that was announcing, and he had no clue about fishing. And they're down in Chamberlain. I don't remember the guy that was on stage. And he'd always go, "Giddy up, partner. Get up here. Tell me how you caught him." And it's day one of a 3-day tournament. And the guy goes, "Tell me how you got him." He goes, "Frogs, 80 foot of water." And the guy, without missing a beat, points at the crowd and the camera, goes, "You heard it here, folks. Frogs, 80 foot." And so it's always been the joke now, frogs, 80 foot of water. Chamberlain, April, yeah, right. But yeah, that's always been our jokes, is frogs and 80 foot of water, because he didn't miss a beat. And that's kind of how he eventually couldn't come. My dad started emceeing, and that's kind of how we got brought into the running of the tournament side of stuff. Because I told my dad, you're the king of third place. That's the best. He won one fishing crew. I got to admit, he did win a fishing crew Chamberlain event. When he finally quit running the fishing crew and gave it, sold it to me, and, he won one. But I mean, he was a hell of a promoter. And that's where I learned to do what I'm doing now. And, I think he'd be proud of where we've brought it with the broadcast and the number of teams and everything. And it's all because of people watching us. And, we're putting a lot of effort into it. I work a full-time job. You work a full-time job. Every one of our crew. Oh yeah, we could have a whole show on Billy Brenton. There's a bad side of Billy Brenton. Yeah. That was a bad deal for the people who remember it. But that's what we love to do. We love to promote, and that's why we go to the Bassmaster Classic, to find things like Deep Dive, to find, all the different vendors and sponsors. And it was amazing this year. And you saw it and I saw it. We'd walk up and talk to people, and they'd ask us who we are, where we're from, and what we do. And as soon as we said we were walleye guys, they were like, "We want to talk to you more."
Yeah. Yeah.
You had it happen to you. Zach had it happen to him. I had it happen to me. It was quite interesting to see the industry, and that's never happened. That didn't happen last year.
No.
And people were like, we want to help. So hopefully, if any of them are watching, I'm gonna be sending you emails. Hopefully we can make some stuff work out, and pretty excited about where the year comes.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. There's a void, and I think you realize that, and that's why you started doing the fishing crew stuff the way you've done it, and we're creating these productions because people, they really want it. They really, really, really want it, and nobody is really sticking their neck out. And really, when you look at the walleye world, what do you have? And it's great, it's big, it's huge. You've got Target Walleye, right? I mean, there's just no, if you're into walleye, you got Target Walleye. And it's cool that they started Target Crappie. That's fantastic. I think those two things are.
And Target Walleye is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Chris and the crew at Target Walleye do a bang up job.
Yeah. And really, when we were talking about Chris, and he said we're going to get Big B on the show here one of these nights. And I think, honestly, that's going to be a ton of fun. Let your hair hang down and just enjoy. And so, yeah, Chris, we appreciate what you guys do. And so does everybody else that want, that have that thirst for walleye knowledge.
We talked to a few of them, but they're pretty busy in their schedule, them big name guys. But I did talk to a kid from California that was over the top, and we'll see. We'll see. It's a long ways away and a lot of travel for these guys. And, if we can get it to 150, 200 teams like the Gov Cup, the walleye one, we're going to see a lot more of those guys showing up. And that's the plan with it, and that's, like I tell people that, you got, people are like, oh, bass, blah, blah, blah. I said, man, it's catching fish, dude. We're all the same. We just like to catch fish.
Yep. It's Chris. Thank you. That's the thing. I've had that conversation with a lot of bass guys, and I'll tell you what, I am so glad that we found ourselves immersed in the bass fishing community. There are different people. They're a little more giving, so to speak. They don't keep the secrets like the walleye guys do. And if walleye guys want to keep their secrets, that's fine. We're going to try to get them to tell some of the secrets this year, though. That's kind of our plan, right? We're going to try to get some of that. But there's this different thing about bass. And the other conversation that I find interesting is bass guys seem to catch more walleye than walleye guys. But there's a reason for that. I just, matter of fact, I think today's episode on my In Through the Outdoors is called Borrowing from Bass. So it's all about using bass techniques to catch walleye.
I'm gonna out him, Chris. You should have saw Chris's bag of jerk baits that he bought while he was down there. And not for bass. Sorry, Chris, if I outed your top secret deal there, but you showed me and
well, and that's the thing, when it comes right down to it, when I talked to Dan Spengler about the money badger, I said, well, I want to try that thing for walleye. How do I get my hands on one? And let's go to Joshua Jones here. Amazing how many big bass are around big walleyes and vice versa. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And here's the key. And this is what people forget. And I keep telling, my walleye buddies that are thinking, well, I'm gonna try that Ned rig thing. I'm gonna try that drop shot thing. Okay, but here's the deal. You can't go out and pull your cranks at 7 o'clock in the morning when the tournament starts, and then at about 10 o'clock go, well, let's go throw a Ned rig.
That was way too. That's before Pike Masters. I don't know if you want to let out that Pike Love of Mega Bass 110.
Mega Bass 110.
We got a big one from Chris here. So,
oh goodness gracious! All right, you reading this or me?
You go for it, buddy.
All right. Funny thing is, the more you read Target Walleye, the more you realize we're straight up stealing bass techniques to hammer big walleye. Bingo. I guess that's part of where I learned that from. I'm talking Ned rigs, drop shots, jerk baits, stuff bass guys have been throwing for decades. And, but we're out there proving they're flat out catching walleye too. So if you're just dragging a jig and a minnow, might be time to think outside the box or the live well. True. FFS. And get out there and do no, but Chris, yeah, right, exactly. They're all just fish, right? And I think the thing that we're learning right now, if you want to win a tournament, if you want to catch fish, you're relying on a reaction bite, not a feeding bite, right? So like I'm talking, if you're using some of the bass techniques, especially a Ned rig, I truly think that if you're in hard to fish water and you're out using the Ned rig at 7 o'clock in the morning when the sun is coming up or, early, you're going to be more successful than you are at 10 or 11 or 12 or 2 or 3. Now you've got some of those Minnesota lakes that just have a pile of fish in them all day long, and they're all grouped. I mean, you got whatever. You watch McComas catch walleye off of a Ned rig. Boom. It's crazy. Yeah,
Shane,
right.
One cast of 2-pound smallmouth, next cast 11-pound walleye. Shane, I don't think you could reel an 11-pound walleye. Just saying. Sorry, bud.
Oh, no. Now that was you think about the fight of a 2-pound bass, right? That's a ton of fun. For guys that hack on anybody can catch a bass. Yeah, well, so what? Honestly, the bass that I caught helped me with my retrieve for big walleye.
Yep.
I'm just saying they taught me to be a little more forgiving and to let the fish play himself out. Josh says if you're using live scope, pay attention to mannerisms of the bass versus walleye, and it will amaze you how quickly you'll be able to tell the difference between the two if the marks look similar. That's, yeah, no doubt. And I think I've told this story before. Hang on, Shane's got one here. If I recall, 8 to 10 years ago, a guy won a walleye tournament running a spinner bait through treetops on Peoria Flats.
Chase Parsons sure did.
Boom. Yeah. Jackhammer. So the crazy thing that we've learned, and I learned it when I took a friend out for the first time to use his live sonar. And I'm fishing drop shots, and here's a 4, 5, 6 walleye coming across 3 feet down in 16 feet of water, and they come right down to my drop shot, and boom. And I said, here come the bass. And it turned out to be walleye twice, and it was amazing. I learned a ton there. Andy, all the way out. Andy, are you in? I'm trying to remember. Are you in Washington? Huh? Idaho. That's Idaho. It. Idaho. Yeah, Idaho. Sorry, Idaho. When I was Xander fishing, sorry, I couldn't help myself there. When I was Xander fishing in Europe last fall, my buddy caught a 10-pound Xander on a chatterbait. Yeah, see, what I mean. It's a reaction. Whatever causes the reaction still works on Peoria. We tried that last year. We caught some, didn't we? Yeah, Sioux Falls to Idaho. Yeah, and I know Andy's a jackrabbit fan, and honestly, where my whole fascination with Andy, or just the fact that I know who he is, comes from In-Depth Outdoors. I talked to a guy down in Texas that was it was Greg Huff. And so, Andy, you probably know Greg Huff. And here we are, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. And I'm like, no kidding, and this and that and everything. I mean, it got down to Austin Felix, and I'm like, well, whatever. And it was a ton of fun, but it's just amazing. Man, I'll tell you what, just go out and fish. I know, yeah. Curt, I know what you're thinking. Oh, you got that from me. I got that from a lot of people.
No, just go out and fish, and
just go out and fish. If you're using bass baits, I've sat beside guys on the rocks who have come up and taken the plastic wrap off a Zebco and whatever dingly dangly little Mr. Twister knockoff whatever thing, and they hook a minnow in it sideways and don't even know the difference, and they cast it out there, and it goes out 8 feet into the water, and boom, there's a 25-inch walleye, and they're just, they're picking it up out of the water. Look what and we're all freaking out. He's like, dude, you're gonna break the line.
I've got comments there, but I'll keep them myself.
Yeah, I know. Your old man got me straightened out.
I was gonna say I think that was you before you met my old man.
It was. I was a Zebco dude. Yes, I was. I'm not going to lie and pretend that I wasn't. But I made a shift to a bait caster, and so I love it when I'm out on shore. Guys are like, "You fishing for bass?" I'm like, no, walleye. A walleye guy with a bait caster? Hell yeah! That is the only way to fish. I love a bait caster now. As a diver, the trees in, Chad, man, would I love to do that. As a diver, the trees in Peoria look like Christmas trees. Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the donations. Oh, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I bet you got a bunch of Bible stuff there, don't you?
Yeah, I bet you we could have a conversation about some baits that I have down there or had down there.
Man.
I've heard it's like a jungle of fishing line through those trees.
All the years that
and there's a kicker motor somewhere down there too. Chase lost.
Oh,
or Keith, or one of them guys lost a kicker motor down there one year. Yep. So Chad, I don't know if you found that one yet, but there's a kicker motor somewhere down there from that era.
Well, Peoria Flats surprised me because I didn't realize it was as shallow as it is.
Yeah,
25 feet, something like that.
Yeah, and it all depends on water. I mean, it all depends on where we're at. The lake has been coming up. I did get a Snapchat today. It looks like they're going to be dropping the lake again, but
yep.
You don't know. I mean, we don't have much runoff, but we could get a storm up north. I mean, that's the thing, is lake could fill up. It goes up and down, and a couple weeks ago when we had Mark Finsel on, make the thing 30 foot lower for 3 years. Please do. Let's grow some vegetation. Let's grow some trees up. Let's get some more tackle back that Chad can't get to, that we can all get to. And
yeah, right.
And let's get some vegetation.
Well, that's the fun part of Hawaii going down.
Brian Tipton recovered Keith's kicker. Well, I guess the kicker's not down there. I did not know that.
Okay. Thanks, so that's the nice thing about Oahe dropping like it does. When it drops, you got to run out there and you can find mimic minnows and jigs and cranks and all that stuff. Dangerous with Fireline. Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you get caught up and screw yourself right there, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, so Classic was great. Met a lot of great people. Just go. Make the trip. Yeah. You won't regret it. I don't care if you don't like bass fishing, the expo, and just as a fan of fishing in general, when you walk into that arena and watch them weigh in. I mean, I still remember last year when we walked into Tulsa, you walk in, there's a bar, and it was like it just down the hill from there is top side of the arena. And I walked in and there wasn't even weigh-ins going on yet, but they had stuff going on, and it was like, whew, this is thing. And yes, next year in Knoxville is the year to go. 100%. I've heard Knoxville's a great time. You don't have to drive for the weigh-ins. But last year we had to drive like 2.5 hours. This year we had to drive an hour and a half to watch takeoff. They take off through town.
Yeah.
Stand on a brick wall and watch them take off. Yeah. Cannot wait for Knoxville.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a ton of fun. So, the more the merrier. Love to see all you folks down there. Josh heading to Knoxville. Yeah. I was like, I went 2 years in a row. I'm good, but
no,
got to do it.
I'm going.
Okay. So Andy, you were at the last Knoxville Classic. And I get that it is a perfect location. I just by looking at things, and really when it comes right down to it, location. Last year the layout of stuff was just better than it was this year. This year it was kind of a pain in the butt because Dickey's was a little far away, a little too far away. Well, it was too far to walk.
Yeah,
you're right, Scott. Easton, Fothergill, is what's good for the sport. Easton 100%. And some of those other kids that are really good kids. When I talked to Easton out back before he went in to weigh that final time, I said, I've been trying to get you on Between Hook Sets on the podcast with my buddy Curt and I for about a year now. It was, at the Classic that I met you for the first time. And I've sent you message after message, but you're a busy kid. He goes, oh, on Facebook, I don't use Messenger. I'm so sorry. And I gave him my card, and I know that eventually he'll reach out when he's a little less busy. So it's going to be a ton of fun to have that amazing kid, on the show and to get the story of his family life and everything that he went through with his brain surgery and persevering and winning on the college level, and then on the big stage at the Classic. It's pretty cool. And, we were wondering if Easton had a father, because we don't know everything about the kid, but that's the fun thing about winning a big tournament. You learn everything. And his dad's a coach. His dad was his bass fishing coach,
geez.
There's a lot of great story stuff there. I mean, it's amazing. And look at that. 53 minutes already, and I swear we just started talking.
Yeah, and we plan on doing just us once a month or once every other month. Summer comes, we have a lot more content with different tournaments going on. So, we've realized that not every week we can have a guest, and we want to. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we like these shows and we carry good audience through them, and we got to.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I was reading something.
This is interesting. Off topic question: anyone done a well check on Seaberg yet? Is he still huddled on his buddy? Here's this fight. That's a darn good question, because I've not heard from Tom.
I talked to Tom yesterday, and he said his wife was there and she saw the Snapchats and she goes, I know why you hang out with those guys because they're just like you.
Yeah. What was the win? Okay, so Easton, so he got $300,000, but then he got a $20,000 bonus check from, was it Lawrence? I don't know. I took the picture. I guess if you want me to, I got so many. Okay, it was Yamaha Power Pay. So yeah, he got a $20,000 check, Power Pay check, and then I'm guessing he probably got other money as well.
Well, and like when we listened to Hamner at the NPAA, he said, you want to get sponsors? The best way to get sponsors is win the Classic.
And there you go,
So,
and here's with Chris's comment there too. Right. Thanks, Chris. So, tonight I was going to try to get Tyler Erickson on from Top Notch Taxidermy because Target Walleye has this great article about Top Notch Taxidermy and all the stuff that Tyler's been working on, right? I'm like, this would be a perfect time. Well, there's another article coming out, I guess. Hope I didn't spill the beans, Chris. But he said there's another one coming out, and I'm not sure what the topic is there. So maybe in a couple of weeks, we're going to talk replicas with Tyler because I'm not kidding you. The replicas that I have back here are not Tyler's. Now, after painting those and then actually being at Tyler's studio at Top Notch Taxidermy and actually having my hands on his product that he has created and made, I can't wait. I'm selling my house, which means I'm going to order the 5 or 6 blanks that I need to get ordered, and I'm going to start painting fish in my new house, wherever the hell that happens to be in June. I'm not sure. Lake Ponce or Lake Oahe, I'll figure it out, but I can't have a studio in both places. So they're Amari. Amazing. Yeah. So, and really, honestly, in today's age, that's the way to go.
You picture me 3D.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Matt Robertson's on thing, the Picture Me 3D thing. So that's a metal 3D fish. It's
your picture behind. You send a picture of you holding a fish, and they make the fish 3D off the canvas.
Yep, it's incredible. Pretty cool. It is incredible. It's spendy. It costs about as much as one of those, but it's cool.
I didn't think it was that spendy. The big one was only $500 and some dollars. I didn't think that was that bad.
So that's a 28-incher up there. That's by the way, that's the one that I caught with your dad the first night I went out when he taught me how to go from a Zebco to the big boy rig, right? So that I think that 28-inch blank was $327. And it's a 22-inch walleye below it that I bought. I bought that one because I wanted that to be the first walleye that I painted. And it ended up being the last because I hated the blank. I hated how the fins laid into the grooves and how they glued in. It was just ugly. I hated it. The bass was okay. The perch was good. I can't wait to have the new world-class replicas from Tyler, and they're available from McKinsey, which I don't know how many people out there paint their own fish. I just decided to do it because I'm like, well, I want to do that.
Did you paint that bass under your 2 walleyes there? Did you paint that one?
Oh, Billy there? Yeah, sure. No, do you mind if I get the very first fish I painted?
Grab it.
Okay. So here's the deal. So this little beauty, it's a largemouth, right?
Yeah.
But I painted it like a smallmouth because I was going to paint it like a perch or a walleye. I'm like, well, that's just going to be stupid, right? So I ordered the stuff online. I ordered the paint. I ordered the brushes. I ordered everything that I needed. And I started painting on paper plates. And I'm like, well, I'm going to clean this bass off that I got from Jerry Nissen. He's a friend of my dad's and a taxidermist in Brookings. So I cleaned it all off, took it under the sink, got all the paint off of it, and I followed a paint schedule from some guy online, and I did this never using an airbrush ever in my life in 20 minutes. Now I didn't have to glue the fins on. The whole fish was this way. And it's not perfect, but then again, I never painted a fish before. So
that works. I don't have that talent. I can't draw a stick man. We do have another comment from Chris.
Okay. Speaking of FFS, today's email, top item, beautifully written by Tom Wynn Fishing. Yes.
100%.
Yeah, he did. And I think that's where this dumbass comment came from.
That's where that came from.
From a boat manufacturing dude, for Pete's sake. Like, get it together. But but when you read, and it's a book, there's a few paragraphs there. You got chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's well worth the read. Well worth the read. And I'm glad that Chris brought it up, because it is cool. I mean, it's well worth it. Pretty good for first time. I said, "Oh, Chad, thank you very much." I wasn't doing that to brag. I was just, so if you get a chance and we get Tyler, I'm hoping that Tyler will join us in his studio, and that maybe he'll do a little painting while we're
instructional between hook sets.
Well, not necessarily instructional, but just give us a look at what you do.
I think we need to talk him into. We'll each have a replica. We'll get all the stuff, and then we'll see who does a better one. And I'm going to promise you that I will be in last.
Oh my. Well, I've got a mahi from Jerry in my storage shed that I'm going to pull out. And I saw Mercer's tuna that's got the flames on it. Job. Yeah, I'm like, okay, how am I going to do that mahi? I can't do flames because I can't steal a paint off. Yeah, right, Andy. I can't steal from Mercer. I just can't do that. But I love his tuna with flames.
Somehow my eye'll end up on the tail of my fish. It will not be good in a paint off. I promise you.
No, it's not good. Goodmisted's not watching. Crappie T's not watching tonight, or at least we haven't heard from can'tpaintfish.com. Josh, thanks. Yeah, appreciate
that. That's my website.
Yeah, I think we need to. Well, Andy, you're out in Idaho. Curt, we've got to get out there and catch those big perch.
Yeah, I think Andy's got them on the lockdown, or I haven't heard much about them lately, but yeah, I think Andy can put us on some. So a road trip for between hook sets to Idaho to catch giant perch, or hop in the boat with Andy and watch him reel in another giant walleye, all by himself. Yep. We won't help you net, Andy, if that's okay. We'll just stand there with cameras. He said, "Screw perch." Screw perch. Oh, we might have to have Andy on to hear this whole story.
Honestly,
Columbia, yes.
Columbia, yep, the 16-pound one. Honestly, you know what? We need to have Andy. Will you come on the show one night and just lay it on thick with us? That would be a ton of fun. Yeah, I mean, it just would be super exciting. And before we go, because I see we're an hour and 3 into it already, which is awesome. I hope people haven't fallen asleep. We've held on to people here all night. But the one thing that our Wednesday night between hook sets has helped me realize is that every time we go out now and do a fishing tournament, we're talking to you, which really changes things, because before the last 2 years, we've just been talking to a screen.
Yeah.
And that has changed this year. We have a ton of people that are commenting and being a part of the show. No, seriously, Andy, if you want to be, we want to have you on. But yeah, we're talking to you, and that makes it all the more fun.
And you're communicating back, and that's
right. Right.
And we have one from Will here.
All right. So do you want to take Will's, or you want me to do it?
You got it. You don't want to hear me
want to act. Okay. Oh, hey, yeah, this has got attitude. I'll take it. People want to act like they're focused to use FFS. Fish how you want to fish, and so will I. There you go. Yeah. I just happen to want to use live scope. I will say the bass community is way more toxic about the walleye community than the walleye community. Yeah. So I kind of botched that, Will, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That's my deal. Lou, thank you. It's always good to have Unk on there. I'm the same way. You know, here's how I'm going to fish, and I just don't give a damn what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
You know, I've tried some stupid stuff. I felt like I always needed to come up with my own way, you know, recreate reinvent fishing just because I wanted to, you know, but then I realized I'm not a Dan Spangler. I'm not there to build bait.
Your squid jig is going to win the Gov Cup this year. That
squid jig, I will catch fish on that. That is a whole different story. If it will piss off a salmon, I'm going to catch a walleye on it. There's no doubt about it. But ton of fun. Love talking to you guys. Honestly, I didn't really think it'd be fun to sit here and blab for an hour, but we talked about a lot of things, and people got to share their comments and their thoughts, and that makes the show. When you guys participate, love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you.
Lazy Ike, gonna bring it back. Yeah.
Hey,
what happened to the Lazy Ike? I mean, I had one of those in my tackle box when I was a kid up at the lake.
Yeah, but here's the thing: people quit using them because other stuff came along.
Yeah.
No, Chris, thank you very much. Here's the thing: I'm gonna go pull out Grandpa's tackle box is right behind the wall, and I got to pull it out anyway because I got to pack my crap and move. So say goodbye to Man Cave. Dang it, anyway. I kind of liked it. But I'm going to pull out Lazy Ike, and I'm going to catch Lazy Ike on it this spring. Or to catch a walleye on a Lazy Ike this spring. Or I'll lose it to a damn northern. Because I have been chasing pike the last few days.
How big a walleye did he catch last time in the Elite Series in Hawaii? He was like 11 or 12 pounds. I don't remember the exact weight.
Maybe.
Peter probably can tell us exactly what it was.
I thought it was 14 and change, like 1401.
It was big.
Yeah, well, yeah. Guys, yeah, I think it was 14. I'm not sure. I'll call Lee and ask him.
It's a bad day to be a bush light. That's all I know.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, all right then. I guess we can wrap her up. Happy hump day. Well, whatever's left of it here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, we appreciate every one of you. Thank you.
All right. On the flip side, they say that, right? Flip side, it's fish. So flip, flop, flip, whatever. Yeah.